from the brain of Steve Saylor.
Hey there, Steve Snowball Saylor here, and I'm doing this in a very lo-fi kind of setting. I'm doing this in basically my office in my apartment, so there's no white screen behind me and I don't look like I'm in an Apple commercial. But I want to be able to do this book review for you guys because I just finished a book recently and I wanted to be able to tell you about it. Because I want to be able to kind of keep you updated on what I'm reading, and if you want to be able to follow along on what I'm reading, Goodreads is actually probably the best because then it actually shows what I'm currently reading, and I can be able to give a little bit of a progress update on what I'm actually reading. I just finished a book on my trusty Kobo reader here. I nicknamed him George. Reason being is that it has a giant George R.R. Martin signature in the cover. That's right. I'm gonna love him and squeeze him and call him George. So the book that I just finished reading is The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt, and it is a Western story. Didn't really know a whole lot about it other than the fact that it was recommended to me by people on Goodreads and also online. It won quite a few awards. The story is set in the Old West, and it's focused around two brothers called Eli and Charlie Sister. Hence the title, The Sisters Brothers. It is a story where they are guns for hire for this mysterious kind of character named the Commodore. The thing is about what this Westerns, and I find this also with other Western stories, is that it is very simple. The premise of the story pretty much is throughout the entire book. There's no twists or turns or hidden plot points or subplots or whatever. Generally, the gist of the story is what you're going to get in the Westerns. There's no complexity to it. And the only twists and turns there is at the ending, whether or not the person seeks justice or seeks retribution or basically is alive at the end of the book or the story, or even just whether or not a family survives at the end of it. So it's very simple in that regard, and this story is no different. I will say this though, it took me a little bit to get into it. About halfway through, I was almost bored with it. I don't know if it was whether just me or what, and I don't remember exactly when specifically the book kind of picked up for me, but around quarter way through, that's when I finally got into the book and and was really interested in finishing it. It's well written. It is written in the sort of subtext of a Western, and it definitely has the same vocabulary and dialogue of a person set in the Old West. So it's very simple to be able to read, very easy to read, and it's also a very short read. I was able to finish it within about a week, roughly, and generally when I read, it's usually on the bus for about 20 minutes at a time. Giving it an actual rating, I'd give it maybe 3.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't blow me away, but it didn't bore me to tears reading it and made me want to stop, much like the Twilight book. But the book that I'm reading right now is called Nocturnal by Scott Sigler. I'm only about 13% into it. It's a very long book. From what I understand, it's about almost 1,000 pages long. And I will say this disclaimer: Scott is definitely a friend of mine. He's a New York Times bestselling author, and I have heard about half of this story already through his podcast that he released about 2-3 years ago. It was actually Nocturnal, the podcast that helped launch my first podcast novel, Black Shadow, on there. So anyway, that's it for me. Check back again for more reviews from me and also more 2-minute stories. I will have those coming out soon. That's it for me. As always, I remain obediently yours. Enjoy reading, everybody.